Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. We are back with an explanation video, and this time we have the newly released Indian web series Candy. In this video, we are going to talk about its summary and ending in detail. So make sure that you watch this video till the end to know all about Candy. Let's get started. The web series Candy is set in the fictional town of Rudrakund, where the murder of a young student opens up a can of worms that expose the real truth about this small town. It all started with Mehul Avasthi, whose role is played by Mihir Ahuja, is found brutally implanted on a tree in the forest. Now it's up to DSP Ratna Savarkar, whose role is played by Richa Chadha, to investigate how this unfortunate event came to be. His school mentor Jayant Parekh, whose role is played by Ronit Roy, is completely distraught when he finds out about this, and immediately questions the police to get more answers on how this happened to one of his beloved students. Meanwhile, Mehul's friend Kalki Rawat, whose role is played by Ridhima Kumar, who was also missing during this time, shows up at Jayant's house in a completely disheveled state, talking about a demon in the forest called Masan. Thereby, Ratna questions the students who bullied Mehul and finds a bag of candy, which leads her to Vayu Ronit, played by Nakul Roshan Sachdev, the son of a local MLA, Money Ranaut, whose role is played by Manu Rishi Chadha. Vayu has been using his father's candy factory as a means to run his drug racket and selling them to the students of the school. When Kalki's father is arrested as the prime suspect in the murder case, the public takes matters into their own hands as they publicly execute him. This sequence of events leads to Ratna's suspension and increased determination in finding out the truth. Many more sightings and mentions of Masan. A few schoolgirls came forward claiming that they too have seen this supposed demon and were assaulted by it. This revelation furthers the investigation as Ratna and Jayant work together to find out who the real culprit is. Money Ranaut has a very dysfunctional relationship with his son, and all their interaction ends up in disappointment for either with them, not able to see eye to eye. Vayu wants to take his father's place as the most influential person in Rudrakund and will raise hell to go there. Armed with the information that the drug that's running rampant in the town has come in from abroad, Ratna begins digging into every person who has moved into Rudrakund within the past 4 to 5 years. However, someone is covering their tracks by eliminating anyone who might be a solid lead in the case. Vayu becomes the latest casualty, and the Masan attacks Kalki and Jayant's wife at his house. He storms up to Mani's house as he believes he is responsible for it. Once he observes that Mani is mourning the loss of his son, Jayant calms down and says that he understands the sadness of losing a child. At this point, Mani decides to tell Jayant a story. The story started when years earlier, when Mani was shot and wounded in the forest, he came across Kalki's mother, who nursed him back to health. They developed a close bond during this time, but since she was already married, he realized that he could not stay. Months later, she reaches out to him to tell him that they have a child together. However, when her husband found about her infidelity, she burned herself alive in embarrassment, leaving Naresh to raise Kalki on his own. Now that Kalki has no one else and Mani has lost his only son, he wishes for his daughter to return home so that he can take care of her. After hearing this story, Jayant meets with his wife and Kalki to discuss about this news. Kalki admits that she was aware that Mani was her real father, but since he never showed her real affection, she was happy to stay without him. When they return home, they see the school principal Mr. Thomas and Father Marcus waiting for them. They inform Jayant that they have got a glimpse of Masan and can guide him to where it happened, somewhere deep in the forest. Now here the questions which arises are, what are they leading Jayant into? Who is the real Masan? And will Mehul's murder finally be avenged? The monster comes out into the open. Father Marcus drugs Jayant and takes him down to the church basement. He confesses that he stole the identity of the real Father Marcus and has been terrorizing the town of Rudrakund ever since his arrival. In the process of the investigation, Ratna comes across a picture of Father Marcus on the website of a foreign school that faced similar drug problems and immediately gets suspicious. She tries to contact Jayant but is unable to get a hold of him. After which she heads to the church where she is attacked by Marcus. With the help of Jayant, she is able to gain the upper hand and she shoots him multiple times to bring an end to his reign of terror. The devil has a partner. While Jayant is recovering from his injuries at the hospital, the autopsy of Father Murkis proves that he had an accomplice, as he was incapable of sexually assaulting someone himself. Outside the hospital, Kalki is kidnapped by Principal Thomas at gunpoint. He uses her to lure out Jayant and makes them drive up to a frozen lake somewhere. He begins to tell him about his horrible afflictions and claims that he was the mastermind behind the Masan attacks. Thereby, Principal Thomas makes Jayant walk out onto the frozen lake and before plunging him into the sub-zero temperatures, says that despite all he has done, he was not behind the murder of Mehul. He heads back to Kalki, who stabs him in the eye and saves Jayant from the freezing depths of the lake. The wolf in sheep's clothing. Kalki's true parentage being revealed, she decides to stay with her biological father, Money Ranaut. She reveals that she was behind Mehul's murder after she stabbed him in a jealous rage after being rejected. Her biological and adoptive father schemed to hide the truth from the rest of the world and succeeded. All this while, Kalki played the part of damsel in distress perfectly, with no one suspecting a thing in the end. Kalki says that she is grateful for all the love and affection shown to her by Jayant and his wife, but she plans to live with money instead and embrace her more vicious side. She aspires to create her own legacy and not let anyone stand in her way. We hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you did, then make sure that you like this video, share it with your friends, and if you too are a movie junkie like us, then do not forget to subscribe to the channel because we bring new and interesting movie related videos every day. Thank you.